Hi, I'm Amy's committee co-chair, Barbara Spector. Amy and I had some fun doing research for this presentation, and we thought that there were some basic pieces of information about the internet that we'd start off by sharing with you. Okay, so some background information about the internet, technology, and communication, very brief. So what is the internet? The internet is the world's most popular computer network, but it is not the only network. There are quite a few global networks other than the internet, mostly used for scientific research or military diplomatic needs. So most of us don't use those, so we haven't heard about them, but there are a lot of things going on out there that we're not part of. What is the World Wide Web? The www, or web for short, are the pages you see when you're at a device and you're online. So the internet is not the web. We use this very interchangeably, but not true. The internet is the network of connected computers that the web works on. So the internet are the roads that connect everything together, while the web contains the things you see on the roads, like houses and shops. What's a web browser? So you have to think of the web browser as the GPS system. The web browser gets us around the World Wide Web, or gets us to find on the World Wide Web that we want to find, and it actually travels on the internet. So a lot of these you can see came after the BWGC was founded. Jeff reminded me there was an earlier version of a web browser, and we did use the Internet Explorer. But Firefox, Safari, Chrome, and Edge, which are the most commonly used right now, are all pretty new to the game, and all have been evolving while we've been evolving. What's the cloud? So the cloud is a place, someplace out in the ether space, that stores files on remote servers and delivers software over the internet. Cloud computing provides the user with a simpler, more reliable computing experience. So there was a time where all companies had their own large servers and their own large computer rooms, and they got smaller and smaller, and eventually companies stepped in and started providing a much bigger, broader service, so that wasn't necessary. So why use the cloud? And we're discussing this right here because we might be integrating more of the cloud in the way that we do business and store data for the circle. And you know that through the use of some of the cloud systems like Microsoft Share, Google Docs, anyway, we've been using cloud-based storage, but obsolescence of storage data has been a constant. By 2001, floppy disks, which I bet most of us remember, were out of the picture and were replaced by CDs. By 2016, CDs had been replaced by MP3s. Now, a lot of us still have those CDs in our collections, but and they'll probably be a very long time before they're totally obsolete, but they're not being used for everyday storage. We moved on to flash drives, and by 2021, most of the way that we exchange information is through cloud services like Google Drive, Dropbox, and Microsoft Exchange. Another reason to use the cloud is security. The companies that run cloud storage upgrade the security of the stored data regularly and create backup copies at least daily. Today, most organizations use the cloud and is an important part of their data storage and backup plan. And then, of course, multiple users can access data simultaneously simply by logging onto the storage site. So that brings us to our phones. What is the phone? So before the 2000s, before this century, we had rotary dial phones, and we had the Princess touch button phones. In 2001, when the Circle started, it was typical to have something like the Nokia 8250. Back to the other slide. Yes, thank you. And the big features there were a text screen and a book that stored up to 250 numbers. So I don't know if you remember pressing those little alphabet buttons 3 times to get to the letter that you were looking for when you were trying to text, but it was a pretty tough task and it went slowly and we didn't do it all that much. By 2010, Apple's iPhone 4 was introduced and it boasted FaceTime, Retina display, and onboard video editing. So this was a point where I think the phone started to change the turn small personal computing devices. So today's iPhone 12, which is the most current of the iPhones, and certainly there are plenty of other smartphones, features Face ID, an impressive camera, 5G. It sends texts, emails, schedules our meetings, and searches files with increasing computing speed. So today's phones are really small, portable, personal computing devices that keep us connected, organized, with access to a seemingly limitless amount of information.